So a big problem that some animators feel when making fight animations is that they feel that the character hits aren't selling. If you think about it, how many times have you seen a fight animation where it doesn't feel that the animation has any impact? The key here is you want to make use of extreme poses and recoil to sell your character's hits. You want to stretch your character at the point of impact to have that maximum effect, and almost like acting, you want your other character to react as if the hit they're receiving really hurts. Hey guys, my name is Cliff and this is Roundtable Studios, where we make 3D animation videos. For official purposes, this idea comes from the principle of animation of squash and stretch. But if you've animated before and you're tired of hearing of squash and stretch, we're just gonna say extremes and recoil. Totally not the same thing.
Oink!
For example, on how extremes can sell hits, let's look at some examples. Ryu's donkey kick from Street Fighter Third Strike exemplifies the use of an extreme frame actually breaking the model to sell a hit. Look what happens with his foot on contact. The extreme pose is exposed for one frame and breaks the model, elongating Ryu's foot past the hit target. In comparison, the on-model keyframe sets the leg back into a normal position and is exposed for a much longer time to show the power of the strike. We can use this same principle in our animations to sell the hit. Here's a similar kick but at a more cinematic angle. Just like with Ryu, the extreme frame exaggerates the character's strike by fully extending past the hit target. This frame is fast and is held for one frame. The following keyframe sets the model back to normal and is held or exposed for a bit longer. As you can imagine, this style can be utilized best in 2D as opposed to 3D, and even in 3D, cartoony or anime style would work best here versus more realistic models. As the animator, it's important to know when to push this principle further and when to hold back. And just hitting the extreme pose alone won't do the trick. But when that move is prepped by another move in a squash, pre-extreme, pre-extreme pose, the more you push that, the more the hit will sell as well. The contrast of going from one extreme to another will help make the characters look convincing. Though not everyone's a fan of camera shake, I am, in addition to selling the hits. It's very easy to go overboard, trust me, I know, but with a quick note on camera shake, move the camera in the direction of the hit, as if the camera is also being hit by the attack. The first frame is the hardest, and I rotate back and forth for 2 or 3 times, with 2 to then 3 frames in between, making each movement less and less to enhance the action. These are general numbers, of course. The stronger and longer the hit, the more shake I do. Play around with it and use your best judgment. When animating a hit, we want to sell the action that's believable and looks like it hurts. One way to do so is with the reactions of the hit target. A great place to start looking for good reactions is in live action fight scenes. Check out this move from Michael J. White in Blood and Bone. On impact, because of the snappy strike to his face and inertia, the opposing fighter's head snaps towards the right while his body is still moving forward. This we will call the impact pose. The head then snaps back forward to catches back up to the body. This pose can then be the recoil pose. For our animation, we can try to exaggerate these poses so that hits read as chunky and expressive. When we hit this impact pose, like the extreme pose can be for one frame, which will help sell the blowback or recoil of the hit, acting as an anticipation frame for the next movement. In this example, because the strike was heavy and hit the chest, we can have a bigger reaction and recoil anticipation with the head pushed all the way down before springing up again. As the body moves away from the strike, a secondary reaction can be added as the head whips back from the recoil. The second reaction can sometimes be overkill, but it would help sell the hit of the strike. It also helps to treat the body like a rubber band in some ways to get reactions looking more expressive. If anyone's a fan of wrestling, a good example of extremes and recoil is the Stone Cold Stunner against The Rock. Even though we know it's a performance, it sells the finishing move has completely impacted The Rock and that he is flown from one side of the ring to the other. If you look around, you'll see examples of how this is done and how to apply it to your own animations. If you're making more cartoony style fight scenes, it'll make it more appealing, and if you're doing more realistic animations, it'll make it more organic. Applying these extremes and recoils to your hits will often lead to stronger, more dynamic looking fights. Check out how I use these extreme and recoil poses, or try it out for yourself. If you want to see more animation tutorials, you can check them out over here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.